Holy shit, hi! These last 2 weeks have been... Let's answer some questions. I'm just going to start from the bottom. I'm just going to do this live, so we'll see how this goes. Tran the Webcam Man asks, what inspires you to do what you do? Boredom, mostly. I just enjoy doing voice stuff. It's something that's low effort for me, which is pretty important with my typical energy level. It's something I just enjoy. And so that's what inspires me, is it's fun. Specific inspirations I do hear in games now and again and shows and such, and go, damn, that's some great acting, I want to do that. Hard for me to name something off the bat, but there you go. How long did you practice your Overwatch voices before you decided to record? Now here's the weird thing. I didn't really. I just kind of played Overwatch a bit, realized that the men in the game mostly just kind of fit my voice profile, and so then I put on my headphones, I listened to the audio files for the characters themselves alone, and I would kind of repeat back the line as I was recording, listen to it, see if it kind of sounded like that, and just do that back and forth. In total, I'd say the practice I got doing that took about a half an hour. That video took like an hour to record or something. Probably a little more, maybe. Yeah, so that's how long I practiced. It's just, that's a weird thing with those voices particularly, is I just happened to fit them. Hungry Klaxon, for the first part of your question.
I'm so cute.
More seriously, if you were in the Dragon Age universe, who would you be? I'd like to think I'd be something cool, like some Tal Vashoth mage or something, but realistically I'd probably just be a peasant. Who I want to be and who I probably would be are very different things. And I'd probably just be a mook. Caber the Crusader asks, what are Lord Swedbeard? The real question is, if you could Lord Swedbeard most the least, would you? Ooh. Says, what you looks like if you shaved your beard? Many question marks. I actually have a few pictures of me before I could grow a beard, back in high school, I think, and I'll put them up if I can find them. If not, I look younger. Yasuo the Convinced Weeb says, I've been here from the first 100. That's surprised I haven't scared you off yet. I would want to ask you, what is the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you? There's a lot of things, but the one that comes to mind is a little story from when I was in grade school, actually, and I still think about this sometimes. It's just funny now, but I was in probably first grade, and coming back from the bathroom, I felt this catastrophe just kind of forming. As I walked in the door in front of everybody, I pulled my head back to sneeze and at the same time tripped and pulled my hands up to my face to try and catch the sneeze while I was falling on my face, and I just in this one cacophonous explosion of yelling and sneezing, I like hit the ground and exploded snot all over, and it was just in my hands. I caught it in my hands, and thus when I hit the ground, smushed it all over my face, and then I'm just like just covered in snot. It was the worst. Sadistic Siren says, congrats on 500. Thank you. How long have you been voice acting? What inspired you to start? I have been voice acting roughly, I mean, when does anybody really get their start? But since I was in high school, in about my junior year, I think, of high school, I did a duo scene with a partner from a play called Greater Tuna, which is a two-man play where both people play, like, it's like 20-something characters in the play. and it's kind of all about quick changes and such. Comedy. But because it was for a state competition, there were no costumes or set allowed, and so the way that you primarily, well, we primarily decided to switch our characters up was through, of course, physical acting, but voices. And so I had a distinct voice for each of the different characters that I played in that scene, and I realized how much fun that was while doing that. That was really my first foray into voice acting, if you will. And from there, I just, I continued on with doing theater in school. I did a lot of voices there, as you might imagine. And then in college, my first year of college, I picked up my first microphone. I picked up a blue snowball. Yeah. And that's where the computer, actual just voice-over character acting side of things started up. Favorite celebrity impression that I can do or that other people can do? Because I can't really do many celebrity impressions. I can probably do some. They don't really come to mind offhand because I don't really do impressions. Despite that the popular video that earned me all the subscribers is an impressions video. I'm not really good at them, actually. Pepsi or Coke? I like the acrid taste of Coca-Cola. It is acidic. It's nice and burny. So Coke. Do you think toilet seat cozies are a waste of money? Toilet seat cozies? Like the cozies you put around your drink? Or do you mean the ones that are little paper things that you pull out and punch and put in the toilet seat? I've never been asked that before. Do I think they're a waste of money? Thinking on how bacteria work and how quickly they spread, by the time you lay the thing on the toilet, it's probably already covered in the same bacteria that's on the seat, so technically, but it helps you feel better. Isn't that really what's important in life? Do you dabble in other creative mediums besides acting? I used to. You can actually see on this channel, I did music there for a while. I'm still a musician at heart. It's just that life circumstances have kind of gotten in the way of me being able to do that. I'd still very much like to, but it's tough. Tough. How about a quote that perfectly sums up the meaning of life? If I was to answer that seriously, I'd just say whatever it is you want it to be. I mean, whatever makes you happy. As it doesn't hurt other people, you know? Just try and do right by others and do right to yourself, and Pontus Jägerstrom asks, can I have your beard? It doesn't detach? But if you'd like me to send you some individual hairs, I'm actually not gonna do that, now that I've said that. But, sorry, friend. Mad Shark asks, who is your Overwatch main, and do you like Yellow Wolf? If you don't know him, search him up. I will do so after I finish this. As I said, I'm doing this just kind of live, so... who's my Overwatch main? I am ashamed to admit that I don't really play Overwatch anymore. I don't like player versus player games enough to want to play it consistently. I think it's a great game. I just not a really competitive person. Actually, that's a lie. I'm an overly competitive person. I get mad when I lose, and so I don't enjoy playing competitive games all that much. Because even if I'm, like, doing fine, even if I'm 50-50 win-loss, that 50% loss is just... That just gets right under the skin. When I did play a lot, my mains were Reinhardt. I played a lot of Reinhardt. Actually, I should say, probably in order. Roadhog, Junkrat, I played those definitely the most. Then Reinhardt, I ended to play a lot. I like Reinhardt, but just like, your team needs a rectangle, or at least it did back in the day. Probably not true anymore. There's meta's undoubtedly shifted. And I was starting to get good at McCree, actually. Ever since I switched to the mouse and keyboard setup, I started improving my accuracy a lot and got some sweet shots in there with McCrimbles. Anyways, that's all the questions for now. Thank you guys for asking. I hope this has been at least somewhat informative or entertaining or something. And until next time, see you later.